Hi, I'm Honest Jardy. Today we're going to replace this here VHE Wheel McLean. It's approximately 35 years old. I'm having a hard time getting parts for it. They're starting to be obsolete, and we're going to replace it with this new, I think it's a CGI Wheel McLean, a newer design of this boiler.
And you got
I just laid out some of the piping, how I wanted to pre-assemble it to save me some time. But again, once I get it in place, we'll be able to see where we stand with that. Some things might have to be changed. Close though.
Now we're draining the boiler.
We hope.
Going right into the drain.
We hope. Now we got a lock, an air lock in the system. So you got to let a little air in. So if you hear it, it's sucking the air and draining the rest out. I got to get up there and, is there a flow check? Okay, there's one flow check here. I don't know if there's another flow check. How come they don't have
Explain what a flow check does.
The flow check prevents the hot water from flowing into another zone or the water heater or out of the water heater. So you don't, in the summertime when the indirect water heater is going, you don't get heat upstairs. More air in. Hopefully that isn't full of water and we'll get killed.
Putting some more air in, taking that
It's
out.
all good, it might be drained. Can't really tell. We're not.
Okay. Now we're just draining the water heater.
We hope.
When you're draining your water heater, you just shove that up, lets the air in. We're going to take the stainless steel venting off. We're going to start cutting away all this piping right here down to the furnace. That one.
Marking this as the return, just because by the time I get to the end I won't remember which is which, but I know that's the supply, this is the return.
Taking all the pump wires off first and then take the pumps off. So today's destruction day, and what we're doing,
disassembling all the old.
disassembling everything.
Bang the new one. We'll line the venting up, Michael, and then we can just tip it, tilt the blocks.
First thing we're doing is putting a little condensation thing in. It's got to be a 1/4 inch pitch towards the boiler. So we got the furnace under there, the boiler, and we're just gonna line it up so that that's straight.
New ones have O-rings.
High temperature silicone is going on these fittings. The new one's got old rings. Okay, we put this water heater in. Indirect water heater.
Trolls. I'm not a big fan of them, but right now we're just this is the supply for the heating system and the indirect water heater.
She already taped it.
I taped it and we're just put a little dope on there.
So you got the whole thing together here.
That's the return.
Yeah, return.
We have a union to disassemble it.
Yep.
That's for the water heater return and a system return. This is a small system, hippie.
This is the push out.
This is the supply. This is the purging station. This is your purging valve. I only have one purging station. A lot of guys, they have purging stations all over the creation. It's a waste of money. You need one purging station. If you do it like this, you have one ball valve, one purging station. The water will come in underneath the spiral vent, push all the air out of the system, all the way back through the bottom of the boiler.
And what's this?
That's an air separator. It's a spiral vent.
And what does it do?
It gets the air
out of the lines.
out of the water.
And what's this for?
This is for this expansion tank and service. This is a service valve.
Service valve.
I used to build these myself, but this Webstone stole this idea off me.
Oh, I got it.
I used to build that years ago, and I finally went to a trade show and they had it made already.
No kidding.
And I used to build these myself.
That's Honest Jardy's explanation of putting it together.
I should have a patent on that.
Honest Jardy never lies.
I'm honest.
He might troll the bull, but he never lies. All right, how much you tighten down usually? By feel?
It's feel. Again, where are we at? This should be the final one.
expansion tank.
Expansion tank. It's a small system, so
It
water heats up. There's an air bladder inside.
It expands and it keeps it from
The relief valve from popping or the pressure in the system. You have to pre-charge. They say they come pre-charged at 12 psi. Some of them I get have no air in them. Some have 8 pounds. Some have 4 pounds. Some have this one had 14 pounds, so I kind of left it alone.
what kind of dope you using?
I used the Blue Monster.
Blue Monster.
I kind of have good luck with it. I'll say one more thing about these new tanks. Amtrol has a little sight glass on the bottom now, so if it starts getting dirty, you know the tank's been compromised and you have to replace it. It'll actually show dirty water. And actually in there there's a Schrader valve to check your air pressure, but you have to do it. You have to do the air pressure without pressure on the system. So, but I have a service valve up there. You'll be able to do that right on there. Yeah, you don't even need a wrench with these.
So we change it around. This is going to be the water feed. Because if we put it over here, everything will be in the way. This is the water feed. He laid everything out dry to make sure it works, and now he's going to put it together.
With it has the backflow too, which is code now. But if you hold it in your right hand, you keep the tape coming from underneath. I've been doing it for years, and you keep it tight. And do 4 wraps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you push the tape in. You push it into the threads to get a good seal, and you have a good little deal there going on. Dope in it. I like to use brass in here. You could use copper in here, but I like the brass. Makes it a little heavier duty. Makes it look like you cared a little bit. This little pipe wrench is one of my favorites, and one time I was servicing an oil boiler and I took the top off for the vent pipe and I set it down inside the boiler where the cover was, not inside the boiler itself but inside the cover. Put everything together and lost it. I searched my house, truck, garage for days. I was heartbroken. I refused to buy another one. Next year I went back to service the oil boiler and it was laying in the top. Made my day. Like Clint Eastwood says. We have the hookup for the water heater. This is an indirect. We have the cold water inlet. There's the boiler supply, boiler return, and then there's the hot water outlet up here and the relief valve.
All right, this is the supply line. We're just lining it all up before we put it on.
This is all pressed. This is all pressed.
And this part, if you go like this with the pump, you could put either or pump on, right?
Well, you keep the shut off at a 45. If you keep it like this, like I could put a Takeo, this is the way the orientation of the flanges. But if you put a Grundfos, you're screwed.
Yeah, so you put it sideways.
So you put it at a 45. This is a swivel flange. So if you put this at a 45, you could do either pump.
Using the machine to put it all together now.
I like these 90 degrees on the Pro Press because they give you a nice long sweep for the standoffs.
Okay, we're going to be cutting the tread for the standoffs.
And I found hacksaws are the easiest way the bolt will go on. Those grinders, you can hear it.
Get that little plate against the wall. We're doing to brace that against the wall.
Come on,
Here, and steady that up, them nuts up, and it tightens it up good.
see it? Yeah. Pumps are directional. They have an arrow. You can take them apart and rotate the motor, and but we're going up. So there's our arrow. Here's our little ring. I got two left hands here. Just get them nice and snug, and if they drip, you just tighten them up a little more.
We're looking at a pump, and this is going to be the float check, which means the water's only going to go one way, and that fits into
Circulator. It
circulator.
eliminates
It
the
eliminates
no
that
metal
thing.
flow checks.
Yeah, some guys like them, some don't. Honest Jardy has no problem with
I have no problem with them.
Well, so far, this is the run. We got that in, and then we come down on this side with the return. That's all in. Then we got this one that runs into the water heater, and then there's the pump. So we got that all in.
Set for
This is
It's set for 10 to 15,
Yeah.
10 to 25. It's set at probably about 12 or 14.
it feeds the
Boiler.
The boiler as you need the water, and this is a backflow valve, so it doesn't suck it out of the boiler in case there's
Water
a
main
water
break.
main break. All right, so what we do is we got the main power coming into here, and following this down, and we're going to tie the main power right into that box.
These Red Devils, but they're anti-short bushings. You put them in so it doesn't chaff the wire. Very good. Okay.
Okay, move the hand. Black to black, white to white.
On this one yet. Doesn't always go that way, but
Go ahead, Sam.
we're just going to put a cover on this guy because we have all switches up above. We're just going to utilize the old relays and switches. The guy has 3 boilers here. He wants to save a little money, so we're going to do that.
We have a thermostat right there, which goes into the relay, and the relay goes into the pump and into the other relay, which goes into the furnace. I'm gonna hook up the aquastat right there. The relay, which
Which in turn turns on the circulator and the boiler.
and the
The
boiler.
thermostat trips the relay and sends it to here. Here's for the direct water heater. You could use this if you have one pump and zone valves or auto mags. Alright, we're hooking into the gas line. The knockout, we had to get the correct size nipple, and we're out, and then we do a drip leg with a cap, and then we're going to put a CSST connector and use a flexible gas connector.
Flexible gas line. And this up here is a condensate drain. It loops the loops. You can see the water
that
in
makes
it.
a trap.
Makes a trap. And then it goes down into the drain.
The tenant isn't home now, so we gotta kind of get the air out of there, and then later on we'll go upstairs and open the faucets. But we'll get this full of water, then we'll fill the boiler side of it. We'll purge it out. Maybe we'll do that first, and then we'll purge the system. All right, now we're gonna purge the boiler system. So this is the heating side. This is the indirect water heater. I open the valves down the bottom. So here's our purge station right here. So I put this valve in, you close this, water's going to come in, go down through the system, push all the air out, come up and down, push all the air out of the boiler and come out here. You only need 1 purging station. You don't need 35 purging stations. Right here solves every... Okay, now we got a good flow of water, all the air bubbles are gone, the indirect water heater's purged out. Now we're going to go into the heating system. So what I'll do is I'll just shut this guy off. We'll watch the pressure here and see what it goes up to. And it goes up to about 12. Perfect. I'm going to shut the indirect water heater zones off. Now we're going to do the heating system. I'll just shut that off. Okay, what's pressure there?
That's all the gurgling stops. It's filled in, right?
Once all the air pockets are gone, we're purged. We'll open them all up. Shut this off slow. And then we'll do the air vent here. There should be some air in there. Hear the air?
Yeah.
And there it is. And that's it. You usually do one turn. There's that side. Okay, one, half, one. Good enough. And that's the only air vent you need. And the air separator, all those other ones up in there and the ceiling and all around the guys put are useless.
The air separator, that's all you need, right?
It's a micro bubbler.
Yeah, and you can test the pressure right here.
If you wanted to put the system under pressure, you screw a cap on. On this particular boiler, we have a temperature setting, so we're going to set it at 180. 180, that's the boiler temp, and then this has an economy adjustment on it for minimum and maximum economy. I'm going to put it on minimum economy because it's an apartment and I'll be getting calls back. So if it was my house or some friend of mine's, we could actually try adjusting it to get a little bit more economy, but people are rent houses, they want heat. They're going to get it. So that's that. Hey, I'm Honest Jardy, and we're all done with the boiler install, and I'll see you next time.